Evening, gang. It's Wednesday night, Wednesday the 16th of November 2022. Welcome along to tonight's little YouTube live, coming to you from Bracknell in Berkshire, and what's been another really wet day as it happens. After I finished the radio show this morning, I walked up to it was a gym swim today, and I'm very pleased that my mate's back. My mate's back online. He's feeling a bit better now, so he managed to come down the gym this morning. I got up there, he was already on the treadmill, and it's funny, we look over at each other's speed on the treadmill and we keep going. You can only go so far before it turns into a jog. I don't want to be jogging on that blooming treadmill thing. I tell you what, I'm not being funny, I really stink after being on the treadmill for some reason. I put deodorant on and all that. I get quite hot on the treadmill. Those of you that do them sort of things, remember, I only do very light exercise. I'm not in there lifting enormous weights. In fact, I struggle with a particular thing at 5 kilos, which is like the lowest one you can do. But it doesn't matter, you know, as long as you're in there doing something. Anyway, my favourite thing is the treadmill because I like walking. And it started off on 5 minutes. The instructor told us to do 5 minutes on there before we start lifting bits and pieces, and I'm on to 15 minutes now because just because I want to. I feel quite nice walking along there, and I also learnt that if you swing your arms, it's a lot more effort because there's like this bar on the front, and there's two metal bits on this bar that you kind of hold on to, right, and that measures your heart rate and stuff, and usually I get up to about 116, 117 if I hold on to that, right? If I let that go and start swinging my arms, like as if you're going for a brisk walk, I have it on incline of 5 and 6 mile an hour. Over 6 mile an hour, and you're talking about slight jogging, you know, and I don't really want to do jogging, especially with one of my bad knees and all that. So I'm just quite happy to walk fast. And then you let go and you start swinging your arms, right? If you do that for a few minutes, then you put your hands back on this metal thing, the heart rate kind of goes right up to about, I say right up, I get to sort of almost to the middle section where it goes yellow. It goes green, I think it's green, 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 yellow, red, red. Something like that. So I get just below that. I've hit the yellow one a couple of times, and it goes up to about 125 when you're holding on. But while you're holding on to that thing, it comes back down again to about 115 or 112, something like that. So that by moving your arms. But after that, I'm aware of, you know, you start smelling, even with the deodorant on, and I don't know why that is. Maybe I'm just a naturally smelly person. My mate would tell you that anyway. He thinks I stink. Seriously, when I go around his house, he sprays me with that Febreze stuff when I walk in, especially if I've had one of my special spicy meals, you know, like with loads of garlic and chilli in it. Oh, I do love something like that. I've been doing a couple of those pasta dishes that I do this week, you know, so pasta, boiling away in the water, and I fry off onions, mushrooms, peppers. I fry those off, and then I've got another pan with a tin of chopped up tomatoes, you know, chopped tomatoes, 2 tins actually in there, because it's 2 meals I do, 2 of those in there. And then there's some garlic, quite a lot, I must admit, like half a bottle. You know the dried garlic, that there's some chilli in there, not too much of that, but enough to burn my own tongue, and something else. Or mixed spices. I stopped buying like thyme and oregano because they always seem to have run out of one of them at the supermarket, and it's always the one you want. You know, oregano or thyme. So I stopped buying that and I started buying mixed spices, which actually my sister told me. She said, why don't you just put that in? Ages ago she told me that. So I bought a couple as backup. Then I ran out of that other thing. So I started using those. Oh, well, don't taste any bleeding different with these then. So I just buy that now. And I get those from Aldi. They're really, really cheap at Aldi, something like 60 pence, 49 pence, 59, something like that. Much cheaper than if you go to, like, I'm going to say a normal supermarket, you know, like Sainsbury's. I don't know what Tesco's charge. Certainly Waitrose, cheaper than Waitrose. But, of course, you get the service in Waitrose, don't you? You know. That being said, the Aldi staff are all right. You know, they always have a little chat with you, a tiny little chat while they're doing. But, you know, once they finish with it, bye! They can't wait to get rid of her. So, yeah. So maybe it's that what makes me pores open, start sweating. I don't really know. That's just the way it is. So, yes, so we did that. Then we went for a swim. And I tell you what, like I said to you, I think last week, it's the weirdest thing. I do gym swim on different days. Swim, gym swim, swim. And then swim, off, gym swim. So I try and do gym swim 3 days and swim 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 days. That's how I do it, right? And the weird thing is, it always seems easier swimming after you've done a little light work in the gym. Funny, isn't it? You'd think it would be the other way around. So we did the swim. That was all very nice. Got out, had a shave. Like to have a nice shave for you to try and look as good as possible, which is difficult as you get old, as I approach my 60th birthday. And then we went to, he said, oh, do you fancy chips and halloumi burger today? So we went there. Well, do you remember me telling you a while ago we were approaching the £25 mark? Only a couple of months ago, yeah? Well, let me tell you this. We're now approaching the £30 mark. I kid you not. We're not having a massive dinner. He had haddock and normal chips. I had halloumi burger and normal chips. There was a bag of onion rings, which I just love those, don't you? But I've got to do done right. I think we went into the place in Skegness, the Trawler's Catch. We had some in there once, and they were a bit greasy. You know, it's almost dripping off this stuff. It's too much, you know. They've got to be sort of, I don't know, let to set so the grease drains out a little bit. So we had those. Actually, he didn't have any of those, so I had the old bags myself. I had a cup of tea. He had a Dr. Pepper, and it just come to just over £28. Every time we go in there, it's gone up a bit more. But we're now approaching £30. We were going in there once a week at one point. Not anymore. Then it became twice a week. Then I said, well, we'll do this once a month now because it's getting silly. It's getting towards almost at £25. Well, now we're over 28. And it's not, I'm sure it's not the chip shop's fault. You know, they got to make a little bit of money, haven't they? And they are restricted by how much money is coming in, I suppose. That's just the way it is. So, you know, whether or not we'll, I'm sure we'll carry on going there once a month. But excuse me a moment, I'm having trouble with my chair. Oh, the blooming bit of, see, under this chair is a bit of wood, right? But the wood is not fixed to the floor because there's a carpet, then there's a wooden floor, then there might be pipes underneath. And, you know, if I start drilling in that floor, that's going to go straight through a pipe. Just a minute now. Can I just move this? And now and I have to move it back into position, which is the case now, I think. Hang on a minute. Oh, God. Ah! God's sake, man. Oh, it's moved right the way back there. How does that even move? Cool, dear. It's, blimey, it's easier lifting bloody weights. How does it even move, that bit of wood? Hello to Maureen this evening, texting in. Lovely Maureen. Hello, Maureen. How are you feeling today? How's your knees? Maureen's got a bad knee. She still manages to get to that, to Central Station, though. She still manages to get there. I said to her the other week, I said, do you want me to bring the mic down to the chair? Because no problem, if you're disabled, you know, I'll take the mic down to your chair. We involve as many people as possible. No, she struggles onto that stage, dear. I've had a word with the manager, actually, Maureen. I hope you won't be offended by this. I'm requested a stair lift for you, which we're going to be put on the 2 steps up onto the stage. Is that okay with you? But I doubt it. You know, they won't even fix the bloody air conditioning, let alone put a stair lift in for you, my love. It's outrageous, isn't it? Do you know, whenever I play ABBA songs, I think of you now, more. You and my sister, actually. Because you're both big ABBA fans. Good evening to the delight known as Mark Bowles. Good evening to you, Mark. All right, darling. I nearly sent you a message this morning. I had the phone out and my mate started rabbiting away in my ear and I forgot to send it. So how's it going, Mark? Same sort of position, I'm imagining? You know, top, hopefully. Same sort of position with your other bits and pieces going on? All right, my love. Hello to the lovely Mark Bowles. Let me send him a little heart. There's a text number if you want to join in at the top there. 07451 287 337 is my text number. Any messages, they will come straight to me. I will pop into the chat box, but to get a message nice and quickly to me, jump the chat box, just send it on 07451 287 337. And someone else sent a message in about the PayPal. So let me put that up there. I've put that up because someone said... It was someone who watches the recorded version of this. There's always many, many more people, as you can see from the numbers, that watch the recorded version of this rather than with us live, as it is like right now, like 11 minutes past 8 on a Wednesday night there. So if you ever want to text in and you're watching a recorded message, if you ever want to tip, just send it on the PayPal, okay? Type that whole thing into your address bar. PayPal.me/Chris Reardon UK, and that arrives straight to my PayPal, and I get the whole amount. So, you know, if you send £1, I get £1. Whereas with YouTube, if you send a super chat as £1, I get, I think, 70 pence or something like that. It's quite rare that I get a little tip, but if you want to, it's there for you to use. All right, darlings. So that's the halloumi burger and chips, which, you know, can't fault it. We always enjoy the food in there, and you're not hungry afterwards. Could have done without the onion rings, I'll be honest with you. Could have done without the onion rings, but once every now and again is okay. From there, we went to Hyundai. You know the car people? Hyundai. Hyundai, I think it is. Hyundai, because he'll be changing his car soon. He's got a Mini at the moment that he's had for about 4 or 5 years now. So he's changing it. So he's looking at the Hyundai plug-in hybrid car, which is the one we want. So we popped down to the garage and had a quick look at that. We didn't go for a test drive. We just sat in it. He's not sure whether to get black or grey. Such depressing colours, you know. And actually, the trouble, you know, I've got Toyota. The trouble with Toyota is that there are very few selection of colours available. Hardly anything. It's like, I think my colour had the choice of red, white or black or silver. That's it. Go on Hyundai and there's all these different colours all on the wall. But you can choose from loads of different... I liked yellow. I think there was... Was it? Oh, there might have been a Peugeot one. I saw a yellow there somewhere. Lovely colour. And it had a beautiful blue in there as well. Which is, you know, Hyundai. So we had a quick look at that. We were only there for about 10, 15 minutes or so. And then from there we popped down to a garden centre because it's my mum's anniversary this week on Friday, the 18th of November. My time is really short on a Friday, so I'm going to go down to the grave tomorrow. So I wanted just to get a few little flowers to put into the grave. I get plants. They're dear as well now, like £3.50 for 6 winter pansies, I think it was. £3.50. So I got 4 of those, and I'll be putting those into the grave tomorrow and have a little bit of a tidy up. So I'll go down straight after the radio show. And so we went to the garden centre. I also wanted a couple of blue spruce trees. You know, the Christmas ones. But I wanted ones that you can grow. But they didn't have any in yet. So I've managed to order a couple from Sutton's Seeds. I think they got £10 off at the moment if you order online. Hang on a minute. Where are they now? That's is it? There is a 1 minute. Sutton Seeds. I'll tell you how much they were at the moment. Ever so pretty. They're about 1 metre high. Okay, about 3.5, 4 foot high. Blue spruce. I'll tell you how much they are. Where are they? Korean fir. Well, that ain't right, is it? Oh, I can't find them now. Is it offers? Was it on offers? Offers. Oh, I can't. Oh, no, Korean fir, $11.99. They're with cones. They are. It's not there now. Can't find it. I wonder where they. 1 minute. Promotions. No promotions. Social gatherings. No, it's not there. Oh, gardening. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I think it was Gardening Express actually. Special deals. 1 minute. Special deals, is it? Blue spruce. They're like Christmas trees, really. Oh, here we are. Yeah, £10 off. £29.95. Special Christmas deal. What's it? Picea pungens glauca is a special variety of prime quality blue spruce Christmas tree. Has a subtle pine fragrance, so will also act as a natural air freshener if you want to bring it into the home. But it comes in a pot, you see, so it's got the roots and all that, and you can grow it. It says once Christmas is over, I probably won't bring it into the house at all. Actually, I'll just put it straight outside and plant it. When Christmas is over, can be kept outside either by being planted out in the garden or repotted and used again next year. Be sure to keep it well watered. It will grow about 10 foot in 10 years and grow in all gardens. So I won't be putting that in the garden, but out the front. They've recently done our cable round here. I've been digging up loads of roads and all that business. So I've got a choice in my cable providers now. And they park their bloody great big lorry thing in the bushes. Right. Well, I've made a gap there now. We can't have gaps there. So I sent a little message to my my lovely neighbour Dave, and I said, "How do you feel about me putting a little blue spruce pine tree there?" And he said yes. So that's what we've done. All right. And that was my day. Came back here, got into my bed, into my new luxury bed. Well, it's not a new bed, right? Not a new bed, but it is luxury because I have at last splashed out a little bit of money and purchased, I've already got one at the caravan, an electric blanket. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Dirt cheap to run. They are pennies to run, electric blankets. My God, what a difference that made. I made the mistake before because I've got mattress topper, which actually that needs replacing now because there's a bit of a dent in the middle where my fat arse lays. It's a big dent in the middle. I try and sleep on the sides. So, but it's in two parts. There's like a thick part on the bottom, John Lewis thing, and the thin part on the top. And I put the electric blanket in between there. Well, that didn't work. Didn't work. I just imagined the top part was keeping it warm and the heat wasn't coming through it. So I read the instruction. It does say on there, you know, just put it under a sheet. So I had to take all that apart again because, of course, you have to unbutton everything. They're all on buttons. Took it out, put it on top of that, buttoned everything back up, and then put a sheet on top. And the first time I tried it was last night. Oh, my God, what luxury that is. You know, you turn this thing on 10 minutes before you get into bed with the covers over. And, you pull back the covers and you're in. And I've got to tell you, tonight I had a little sleep this afternoon after I've been doing that earlier. And I did not want to get out of bed. I woke up at, I set the alarm for 6:30. I woke up about 6:15. Oh my God, I'm so nice and warm in here. You can leave it on low setting if you want to, but that just gets too hot. Just gets too hot. So I turn it off once I get into the bed. My God, who else has got an electric blanket? Now listen, don't just go on Amazon for this if you want to buy one. Or anything else come to that, because there's been several incidents now, and it was my niece's husband that told me this. Don't automatically go to Amazon for your stuff, right? Because often you find it cheaper elsewhere, and that was the case for this, because this particular Silent Night king-size blanket was advertised on the Amazon for £55. I do a Google search now as well, and if you click shopping, I think, you get all these different prices come out. Thank you very much. Asda, same thing, £32. Thank you very much. And that's worth the car trip as well. Because Asda is not walking for me. That's a car trip of about 15 to 20 minutes. Through one of the worst roundabout things I've ever come across in my life. You have to go through this place called the Winnersh Triangle, which is just roundabouts all over the blooming place. And it's even worse now because they seem to be changing the roundabouts around a bit. Oh, dear me. They shouldn't make roads complicated. And they wonder why you get fines. Because you don't know where the hell you're going. It's so complicated. Anyway, so I went down to Asda yesterday. On Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Monday night, I think it was. I went down to Asda and got some bits and pieces. I was going to get some bits and pieces in there. I went in there. And I said to this, did you sell electric blanket? Oh, no, I don't think we do those. Only available online. Thank you very much. I thought, well, I'll continue looking anyway, because she didn't seem to know what she was talking about. And then round the corner, on the next aisle, hello, electric blankets. So I grabbed one. I didn't want to make her feel stupid. I said, all right, love, I'm not criticising here, but they're just round the corner. Oh, thanks ever so much, she said. Anyway, I went off and I started putting other stuff in the bag. And I couldn't believe how expensive Asda was. You know, I'm an Aldi shopper now. Yeah? My God, there's a difference. For example, Pink Lady apples, £3 for 4. Now, I know I can get 6 from Aldi for £2.75. There's just one example there. One of the other reasons I wanted to go there is because I haven't been able to get my unsweetened soya milk from Aldi for ages now, for weeks, right? And I'm down to my last 4 cartons of it. I do like to have a lot of that in stock because I seem to get through quite a lot of that. Anyway, so in Asda, they had some Asda unsweetened soya milk, and it was £1. Was it £1.10? I think a carton. Well, Aldi are only charging 55 pence for this, and I thought, oh, shall I get some, or shall I see if there's an Aldi closer by, because it's my branch that seems to keep running out of this stuff. Anyway, and I thought, plus, you don't know what that Asda one is like, because some of the soya milks, including the market leader Alpro, they put this most vile taste in it some time ago. It's awful. Awful, this bloody taste they put in it, right? But they don't have that in the Aldi one. And so I put it back and I thought, no, I'll try Aldi. And then there was and then I went round to the baked beans because I was running out of baked beans. £3 for 4 cans. Branston ones, so they're the ones I like, Branston. And I thought, blimey, that's dear. How much are they in Aldi? 37 pence a can. And that's for the premium ones. Not the cheap, not the essentials. The premium ones are 37 pence. Well, no. So in the end, I went to the till and I just bought the electric blanket. And I thought, I got back in the car. There's some weird people. Do you know, I'm not being funny. There's some weird people walking around in Asda's. It's the same at the Boston one. Up in Lincolnshire. There's some weird people walking around in Asda. I didn't feel safe in there. I thought Aldi was bad enough, dear. You've got to get your time right when all the scum is not in there anymore. You know, people like you don't want to be in there when the certain Aldi shoppers are in there. But Asda's even worse. Even worse. Just odd people walking around. I didn't feel safe, dear. Not even by the cat food section. So I got back in the car, typed in Aldi, and there was one just down the road, like 9 minutes away. I thought, oh, well, let's try that. And I went down there, and this is an Aldi I hadn't been to before. And I thought, well, I want some other bits and pieces. I'll get a trolley. Well, I filled that up. I couldn't believe it. I only went in for a couple of bits. I had a trolley full of stuff. A trolley full. And I got round to various bits and there's me apples, £2.75 for 6. There's me wonky blueberries, 89 pence or 79 pence, whatever they were. Something like that. Here, hello, Gary Ross. Hello to Gary. All right. Gary says, all right, Chris, mate, Asda oddballs. Oh, they really were. Really were odd in there. Oh, let me see. Mark Bowles, was it a dirty message you were going to send? Well, you can send me one if you want to. Please send me one immediately, Mark. Hey, I thought it was still the same. All right, Mark. Sorry, mate. Evening to Vera. Evening, Vera. Thanks for texting, Vera. Good evening to lovely Fran Green. Texting in there. Evening to you, Fran. Send a text if you want. All right. 07451287337. So, yes, I got all my bits and pieces. And then I thought, I wonder if they got any of this soya milk. And there it was. Loads of it. All stacked up on the shelf, unsweetened Aldi soya milk. The difference is, you see, 55, 56 or 57 pence. It's one of those in comparison to Asda, £1. That's twice the bloody price, dear. We don't like to spend money unnecessarily, as you well know. Not even on blue pine trees. You see, it's what your thing is, isn't it? I know some of you lads out there, you love your football and all that. You wouldn't think twice about spending £200 on a ticket to go and see a bleeding football. I wouldn't do that, you know. I mean, you don't even get to sniff their shorts, do you? What's the point of that? I was wondering if I should apply for a job, you know, like a football club or something, cleaning up the dressing rooms after the lads or something like that. I'm becoming across as a bit pervy now. Actually, Mark, if there's any washing that you want to do, just send it over in a little parcel with a little ribbon on the top, and I'll be happy to do that for you, okay? I might try some of the clothes on for... Never know, I might be able to fit into them if I carry on doing my gym stuff. Ah? So, yeah, in Aldi. So I've filled up with this this milk. Hello to Diane Jeb. Evening, Diane. Hello to Paul and Lou in Birmingham. Evening to Paul and Lou. Welcome along to the show, sirs. So I got the milk and I thought I bought 8 and I thought 8, okay. But I haven't been able to get hold of it for a while. I get another 4, so I got 12. And then I thought, oh, you might as well get... I bought 20 soya milks for like, I don't know, £12. You know, instead of 25. The price difference with soya milk in Aldi and everywhere else is enormous. Most places charge between £1 and £1.40 for these cartons of soya milk. Good evening to Jason. Welcome along, Jason. It's expensive. Aldi, 55, 56, 57 pence. Bargain. Carried on walking. And there's also, then I got to the cheese section. I wanted some chopped up cheese. Now, those are, they had these like, I suppose you call them normal size packets. And they were like £1.99, I think. £1.99 for a normal size bag. But I usually get the bigger bag, which I thought to myself, that's about £2.50, but they didn't have any in. These are the same ones, incidentally, that are in the co-op, right? Much dearer for something like £2.50 or something like that. It's don't you find the co-op dear? How dear is it in there? Anyway, so I was disappointed they didn't have the cheese, but I had plenty of other stuff. And I got to the checkout. And you see, this is the thing that I always say to you. You know, when these families, they get the bleeding benefits come through, sometimes through no fault of their own, they can't get work or whatever, something like that, right? So get the benefits through. And the first thing they do is go out to Burger King or McDonald's. Crazy. I got to the checkout, I got over 5 carrier bags full of shopping, 2 of which admittedly were that milk, okay? 2 were that milk stuff. 5 carrier bags of shopping, £52. How much to take 4 people out to McDonald's for a meal? 30? 35? You don't hold back when you're in there, do you? Either. No. Instead of just having burger chips, we'll have the onion rings, the little cheese things. Let's have an ice cream, or we might as well have a shake and a Coke to go with that. But no, they don't do it. 5 carrier bags of shopping for 52 quid. I was happy with that, thank you very much, darling. That was it, come home. Anyway, so that's my days over the last couple of days, all right? We've got an email here from Vera. Thank you very much, Vera. She's actually sent in 2 emails today because we're going to talk about the older the old electric and gas bills, weren't we, on last week's show, but we run out. So I get my monthly. I'm with Shell Energy, right? Shell Energy. And my last electricity and gas statement came out at £78.63. Now, this has since been corrected because they sent me an estimate for the gas, even though I'd sent in another reading, right? So, and that was wrong. So that's been corrected now to oh, as you see, it's £78.63 again. And then there's a credit at the bottom of like nearly £4, whatever it was. Anyway, so that was mine. And that split up into electricity, £54.88, right? And gas, £27.53. Don't sound too bad at all to me. But what gets me with this, and I mentioned this before, is the blimmin' standing charge. Look, electricity charges, right? Usage charge. So this is what I've used. I'm very, very careful with all my energy and the water, actually. And the water, right? I'm stop that meter turning around as much as possible. There's no lights that come on around the house anymore. As soon as I'm out of here, while the little music's playing at the end, all the lights go out and the ball stops turning. It all goes on the moment I've finished. I'm like with the telly, turn it off when I leave the room. Lights, turn them off if I leave the room. Kettle, only just enough for the amount of water I'm going to use there. Anyway, usage charge, £37.47. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? £37.47 worth of electricity I used. Thank you very much. So why is it £54.88? £14.80 bastard standing charge. That's over a third of the bill. Over a third of that bill is the standing charge. I only used £37. The gas, it's even worse. Even worse, the gas. The gas I'm hardly using at all. I've learnt, and you might be shocked at this, to wash up in cold water. It's no problem. Seriously, no problem. I'll either wash up or in the dishwasher. Dishwasher might go on twice a week now. But if I've had something light, I'll use a cup twice now. Drink the tea, quick wash out with the sponge and the scratchy thing. Rinse out, on there. Thank you very much. Not costing me anywhere near as much. Gas charges. It's even worse. Gas charge, £27.53. It's really low. I know it is. But I don't have that. Heating hasn't gone on yet. Not cold. Do I look cold? Am I shivering? No. Exercise is the thing here as well, you see. If you sit on your fat arse, and if you're disabled and you have to sit on your fat arse and you can't do anything, my heart goes out to you. It's not your fault. Right? But if you're sitting on your fat arse and you can go out and do a walk, something like that, I guarantee you will be warmer, and I don't mean a dawdle down the street to the letterbox and back. A good half-hour brisk walk, you will be warmer when you come back in. I'm always boiling hot when I come out of that swimming pool. Boiling hot, dear. All right? Anyway, gas, £27.53. Usage charge for that, for a month, October to November, £16.73. Standing charge, £9.49. It's more than half the entire bloody bill, dear. And that's what annoys me with these bills and things, you see. The more you try and save, the more the damn standing charge goes up, doesn't it? And we were saying this about that I have a £66 credit as well this month from the government, which I gather goes on for 6 months. And Vera wrote in, I got my energy payment of £66 on the 10th of October. Excuse me a moment. She's got a key meter, I already had some money on my meter, which brought the total to £69.57. So she got her 66 quid on the 11th of November. Now, remember, she sent this in last week and we just didn't get this far into the show. It's now the 9th of November. I was down to £2.35. I have added £5 to bring it up to £7.35, waiting for the next instalment. So I'm now looking at possibly £70 a month for a single person's electricity. At this rate, when all the payments have come to an end, what happens next? I'm lucky enough, and believe me, Vera is not a rich person in any way, shape or form. She's a normal person on her own, and she's as a council flat. I think it's a council flat or one of that type of thing, you know what I mean? She rents that. She says, I'm in a lucky enough position, financial position, to be able to afford it. But what about people who can't? And I keep having this conversation with my neighbour, you see. What on earth is going to happen to these people that simply can't afford it? We've got these announcements coming tomorrow from the Chancellor. Council tax is up as well. I was watching an interview of that. Someone, not with Jeremy Hunt, but I wasn't going to make the same mistake as Victorious Derbyshire on the BBC then. You were hoping for that, weren't you? Huh? There was an interview going on with someone, And the answer was, well, if you want the services that the council provides, you've got to pay for them. So I just don't know. What on earth? Maybe one or two of you can't afford it. What are you going to do? Here I am, and I'm lucky as well. I can probably afford a fair old... I will notice it going out. Of course I will. But I can afford it. What on earth are these people going to do? Can't afford it. Even when I was up in Scotland, you know, I kind of went out with my niece and she was shopping for the family. My God, and it's like 140 quid or something like that. That was in Aldi. Watching people doing their shopping every week, and they got families 140. And I sit here and I think, well, I'm on my own. How on earth do you afford to bring up a family now? It's beyond me. It's beyond me. Anyway, Vera says some suppliers have economy 7 rates between 10 p.m. till 8 a.m, but I think it may have been for storage heaters. I don't think it's just for storage heaters, actually. All your electricity, I think you have to have a special meter. All your electricity becomes cheap between certain hours, right? But the electricity out of the hours is much more expensive. So that's how that works, right? She said, great if you want to start cooking a meal at the time which I do on Thursdays as I get home at 10 p.m. from work. Also, I don't think it's 10 p.m. though. I think it's much later than that. I've got a feeling it's much later than that, Vera, for the Economy 7. But I don't know. It may change from supplier to supplier. I don't know. She said it's great. I get home on Thursdays, do a meal at 10 p.m. Also, the council rules are that we are not allowed, she's got a council list, to use the washing machine before 8 a.m. or after 8 p.m. This does not include the heating, as that's on a separate meter and company. Everything in the building is electric. There is no gas. So you can imagine running the oven, hob, microwave and kettle at the same time. And I have not turned on the heating yet. I'm going to stick it out for as long as possible. Me too, Vera. Me too, Vera. From Vera's Choice in the Morning. Reach on air. Thanks very much for joining in there, Vera. Much appreciated. Fran Green, here we go. Standing charge does mine and my partner's Edin. Even when we are away, it's high. You see? And that's the thing that a lot of people didn't notice had really jumped up on the last increase. Apart from the rate per unit, it was the blooming standing charge, which shot up as well. It's outrageous, isn't it? Maureen's there. She says, I'm fine, thank you, Chris. You got a bargain with your electric blanket. Yeah, well, please, £32. As a king size in Asda. Sleep, silent night. Don't buy cheap stuff when it comes to things like that. Dangerous, dear. You know, I'm sure this one's probably made in China, but they will have certain specifications that the manufacturer will have to stick to, rather than like a generic one. You know, is what I mean. She says, I've got a single silent night one from Argos, £45. Oh, that's dear, Maureen. Quite thin, not very good quality, not like before. Yeah, I must admit, Maureen, this one's quite thin as well, actually. I find this one thin as well, Maureen. Thank you very much, darling. Yeah, you're absolutely right there, okay. Right, let's just pop into the chat box and see what people are saying there. Evening to Mandy, John Parrish, Janice Pope. Hello, Janice. All right, darling. I think economy 7 is 7 hours, between 12 and 7, says Janice. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Janice. That sounds about right. That does sound about right. Actually, I'd go earlier than that, sort of between... I think economy 7 is like between 12 and 5 or 6. Something like that. You know. You could, I suppose, have a couple of timer switches, although that doesn't work with everything, does it? You know. A lot of these things like washing machines, you can't have it on a timer. You've got to physically push a button, haven't you? But you can get these little robot switches now as well from Amazon that you could set up on a timer to get your washing machine on. John Parrish says, using our electric blanket and shawls from our caravan days. Well, I've had an electric blanket up the caravan, which I put on this year, and that made a huge difference. So much cheaper there. All right, Weird City's there. Hello to Weird City. I'm getting a smart meter fitted. Not sure if it will make any difference. It won't make any difference to what you use unless you make the change, my friend. Okay? A smart meter does not save you money simply by putting a smart meter in. The idea is you look at it and start cutting down on what you use. The actual meter itself does nothing, okay? I've heard, I don't want to frighten you, but I've heard some horror stories with smart meters. My nephew's been waiting for a new one for 3 years. They keep ordering it and it doesn't come. My mate's one gives incorrect readings. That hasn't been sorted yet. That's been going on for months. I hear all sorts of bad, terrible stories with smart meters, but hopefully yours will be all right, Weird City. He says, I'm already doing the Albert Steptoe thing, jumpers and gloves. They're not getting my money. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. How much money do you damn well want? It's greed, the terrible thing in this world now. Greed, greed, greed all the time, isn't it, eh? There are also people out there that don't want to spend a penny unless they absolutely have to, and I would be one of those, you know. But, you know, there's a reasonable amount you would expect to pay, and what they're asking for is not reasonable, is it? Incidentally, if you've got time, could you press the little like button on there? It'll do stuff with our algorithms and all that business. All right, hello to Fun Things to Do with Tech, who's in Cornwall. Evening to you, sir. Let's see, what else we got there. I'm just scrolling up very quickly there. I hope I don't miss things. Mandy, we've done all these names here. Said hello there. Kevin Woodruff in the house. Hello to Kevin. Hello to Richard Crooks. Welcome along to the show, Richard Crooks as well there. Okay. Alrighty. Did you ever regret chances that you had and didn't take them? There was a couple I had years and years ago, and that was a lady who came into the Black Cat where I was DJing, actually. And she worked for the BBC, and those were the days I did a lot of personality DJing, you know, talking on the microphone and playing records, that sort of thing. And she came up to me, she said, have you ever done radio? And I hadn't done anything. I said, no, I had a little pirate station back in the 80s. Little transmitter someone made in my bedroom and an aerial on the roof. I got nicked for that, but there we go, one of those things. It was good fun. Apart from that, she said, would you be interested in coming into the BBC and making a demo? She said, I think you'd do quite well. And I said, yes, but I never contacted her. And that could have been an opportunity there, you see. And at that point, I was fairly I was thinking I was about 30, maybe 30 years old. And at that point, I would have been young enough to perhaps have been moulded in a certain way so that I could have done that to their specifications, sort of thing. Whereas now it'd be very difficult now for me to do that. I quite like coming in here. Okay, so we don't make any money doing this or doing the radio thing, but I'm quite happy to sit here and just do my thing without having to worry about pleasing anyone, really. And if people like it, they stay, and if they don't, they go. That's just how it is. But I'm quite happy sort of sitting here doing my thing without having to be told. But I do regret taking that one because that could have led somewhere else. Was that the only one? Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably the only offer I've ever had. Have you ever had an opportunity and maybe not taken it there? DJing wise, I stuck in the same jobs, really, that I was happy in. Now and again, other jobs would come along and they'd offer a lot more money, but I never took it because I was kind of quite happy where I was, you know. Various different places over the years. There was one job, and I took a load of time out of it to try, without telling them, to try another DJing job somewhere. I said, look, I'm working so hard, and I was working every night, right? I said, can I have some time off? Can you give me 6 weeks off? Yeah, it's no problem at all, Chris. And I went and did this other job. Well, within 10 minutes on the first night, I knew it was a mistake, right? And I managed to get back into go back 6 weeks later, back to the other place, right? Without them ever finding out I'd tried this other one. Within 10 minutes, I knew I'd made a mistake, and I never did it again. Never did it. And it wasn't anything to do with money at all. It was just a different thing, you know, different type of thing altogether. But that's the one I have. And I mentioned this. What about you? Have you ever had an opportunity that you didn't take at all? I wonder. The Fonz actor Henry Winkler. Yeah. What was his catchphrase? He had a catchphrase, didn't he? The Fonz bloke. Happy Days Fonz star Henry Winkler has admitted he was a damn fool for turning down the lead role of Danny Zuko in Grease. He was offered that first before our lovely John Travolta. We lost Olivia this year, didn't we? Olivia Newton-John. May she rest in peace. Wonderful voice. We liked her. Anyway, yes, he turned down Henry Winkler, Happy Days bloke. Turned down the lead of Danny Zuko in the hit 1970s musical Grease, which eventually was portrayed by John Travolta. Fonz star was worried about taking another leather-jacketed 50s role, as he was always playing Arthur the Fonz in Happy Days. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Happy Days, Wednesday. That's a nice happy tune, that, isn't it? Happy Days, don't you think? He said, I'm a fool. I thought I've played the Fonz. I don't want to do it again. It's already happened. I'm already typecast. Speaking to CNN. This is CNN International. I know a bloke who works on there. He works in the technicals, you know, on the buttons. I think he's a producer, actually. Speaking to... I did drop a couple of hints. I wondered if I'd get a job at CNN. Nothing came of that either. Speaking to CNN, he went on saying that he should have just shut up and had a really good time making the movie. Henry then quipped, I go home, I say no, I have a Diet Coke. John Travolta, who has done the movie, goes home and buys a plane. Grease has been a smash hit movie since it catapulted onto cinema screens in June 1978. It was, and I saw that at the cinema 3 times. I saw that at the Putney ABC twice and once at Fulham ABC, I think it was. June 1978, defining an entire generation. And it was a fantastic film, wasn't it? Do you remember Grease? Did you ever regret an opportunity that perhaps you had, or something like that, maybe? Janice Pope says you could have replaced Chris Cuomo at CNN. I don't know who that is. Janice, are you in the States? I think you might well be in the States, are you? I don't know who that is. Chris Cuomo. Let's have a quick look. Let me just have a look at him, see if I recognise him. There we are. Paste that in there. Chris Cuomo, television journalist. Okay, no, I don't recognise him. Do we get I don't know if we get CNN on our telly, maybe, do we? In the sort of news, it's up in the 200s on the Freeview, isn't it? Something like that, yeah. Kevin, Chris, you should have jumped at the opportunity. You could have been a well-known DJ. Well, there you go. I agree with you, Kevin. I should have. But and it wasn't a case of not wanting to do it. I was so busy DJing in these pubs and clubs at one point that I barely had time to breathe. Seriously, I was very, very lucky with the work. The funny thing is, now, years later, I couldn't tell you how I managed to do those jobs. Funny, isn't it? Funny. Let's have a little look there. Dan Woodhouse said, good evening, Dan. Says, I remember the other version of Happy Days starring Dame Peggy Ashcroft as the Fonz. Oh, I don't know that one at all. Yeah, I don't know that one. Back to the energy there. Weird City says, thanks. I'm with Octopus Energy. Going to research this further before I let them fit it. Yes, I would do. Have a good look around. There seems to be some real, not loads, but I have heard certainly of horror stories with people with smart meters on there. Okay, Janice says, careful with the smart meters. They switch to prepay with debt on them without warning or warrants. You see, look at that. There you go, John. Smart meters make you aware of the waste. We use just £3 a day. That's not bad, John. £3 a day there. That's the electric blankets helping you off there, isn't it, eh? Vera! Apparently there's no Sky News. Oh, sorry. Vera's got Sky News, but not CNN. You'll be on the Freeview. I also got FreeSat as well. I've got a satellite dish in my garden, so I don't know if I can get it on satellite. CNN. I have watched it on occasion, when I've been on holiday or something like that, I must admit. Thank you. How about switching brands? Switching brands in supermarket. We're all about saving money, aren't we, eh? Do you buy supermarket-owned brands? Or do you go for the brands? It took my mate. He still buys brands. Actually, funny story here. My niece's husband, Ben, insists, and you can understand it, insists on Heinz salad cream. And he only has that for himself. All the kids have the cheap one because he says they pile it onto the plate. And I must admit, when it comes to tomato sauce, I'm the same. But I buy supermarket brands now. For years and years as a child, I'd make my mum buy Heinz baked beans. Not anymore. You may remember a place that I haven't mentioned for some time, the Tin Shop, which is very close to the Caravan. Sorry, the luxury waterside media centre where our programme may be coming from next week. Okay, depending on whether I've come back down or not. On Wednesday night, if we have a show. There might not be a show next week. Depends what I'm doing on Wednesday night, okay? And I do buy... hello, Shania. Good evening, Shania. Evening, Shania. I do buy the supermarket-owned brand now, the Aldi-owned brand. Like I mentioned to you, Asda, 4 tins of baked beans, £3. Asda, 1 tin of premium baked beans, that's Corral, right? 1 tin of baked beans, 37 pence. So that's 4 tins of baked beans, what's that, 30, 60, 90, 120, 134, £1.48 for 4 cans, instead of £3 for 4 cans at Asda. And they're not the Heinz. They weren't the Heinz. I went to Bastard Co-op a few weeks ago. They had 1 tin of Heinz baked beans, something like £1.60. Are you having a laugh? Why would you buy them in there when you can go to Aldi? Crazy. But do you buy supermarket-owned brands or the other one? Things, even toothpaste. Aldi do toothpaste, which is like 50 pence, instead of £2.60 for the Colgate or £5 for the Sensodyne. How they get away with charging £5 for a tube of toothpaste, I don't know. But you do notice when you go to other supermarkets just how cheap at places like Aldi are. Lidl is I find Lidl slightly more expensive than Aldi. And once again, Vera sent an email in here who says, I switched brands years ago. I grew up with most of the brands in the house being Heinz. We did as well. Mum never used to buy the supermarket brands. We bought proper brands. Heinz, I don't know, McVitie's, Kellogg's. She says, Viva says, as I got older, I stopped buying them and only buy the next up from basic. Even that has gone up as people have caught on. I've worked in retail for 15 years. Vera works in Sainsbury's. And a lot of the basic things have disappeared. I read that Tesco are in dispute with Heinz at the moment over their prices. Yeah, that was some weeks ago. I don't know if that was resolved or not. She says, I've tried Heinz baked beans and their ketchup a few months ago and find them far too sweet and gone back to the basic stuff. For me, it's not about the prices, but mainly about the sugar and the salt content. Now, I must admit, I don't look at those things. I don't really look at the sugar and salt content of stuff. But I know that the Heinz ketchup, and I saw that this morning on the one of the newspapers, that the price of that's gone up 58%. 58% on the Heinz ketchup. It's a lot, isn't it? But I haven't bought Heinz ketchup for ages. I buy the Aldi-owned brand, Bramwell's, I think, and if I remember right, it's something like 60 or 70 pence a bottle, maybe, something like that, which is perfectly reasonable enough, isn't it? Eh? Do you buy brands or what is it that you buy there? Shania keeps quiet. You make as much noise as you want, Shania. You never make much noise. I'm on 2 weeks in a row now at Bracknell St. Joseph's, darling. Okay? I don't know if you were listening the other day, Shania. The thing is, you go to Roehampton St. Joseph's, talking about playing the organ here. No one sings. There's no one singing in there. I was shocked. I was talking to altar server Andrew. He went to school. We were in primary school together. He's never stopped. He started in primary school. I think he's just got to 60 or about to get to 60. He's never stopped serving. And he said, even with the prayers, you're doing like the Our Father, and the lips aren't moving. Funny, isn't it, Shania? Thank you, Shania. I'm glad you like the hymns there. Jason says some of the cheap brands have got no taste to them. Agreed. Some of the Aldi baked beans, I put a little bit of not soy sauce, Liam Perrins, or gives it a nice flavour. Oh, do you know what? I think I might do that tonight now. Chips and baked beans with Liam Perrins sauce. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Yeah. Gary, you can buy the smart meters in Screwsix. Says getting it off electric companies. They pay for it every time you top up. No, I think that's a different thing, Gary. Those smart meters, are they the things that you clamp around the wire and it gives you a reading? That wouldn't be the same thing. That just tells you what you're using there. Okay. John Paris is using the air fryer and electric blankets now. All rads off apart from the lounge. £3 a day is okay. Yeah, I'd be pleased with that, really, John. £3 a day. I don't know what mine works out at. Electricity, 54.88. That's more like £2 a day, me. It was not even £2, is it? But remember, I've got solar panels as well. Talking about air fryers, we're all going mad at the moment on these air fryers. There's a couple of good offers at the moment. And if you didn't know, my brother-in-law and my sister are doing a lot of cooking in air fryers videos at the moment. They're doing really well. Hundreds and thousands of people are watching their videos at the moment of them using the air fryer. Have a look at those yourself. It's the Butler's Empire channel, okay? Butler's Empire channel shows you how they do all these cooking things. Some work really well, some not so well. Talking to my sister on the phone, was it yesterday or today? She said they did a kebab in an air fryer. She said it was the best kebab she ever tasted. And she's done me chips. Last time I was up there, which was a couple of months ago now, she done me chips in this air fryer. Oh my God, they were the best chips I've ever had. They were so nice. There's hardly any oil on these things either. So Butler's Empire for your channel, and do give them a watch. And they need a little bit of help, They do need a little bit of help with their numbers. Do give them a little view. Seriously, they're doing really well with these air fryer videos. But there's 2 offers at the moment. Asda. This is in the Chronicle Live newspaper. I don't know where that's from. But anyway, the Ninja, and I gather the Ninja air fryers have been very, very difficult to get hold of. The Ninja air fryer, 5-star rating from Argos customers, is on sale £30 cheaper than Argos and John Lewis. £99 in Asda. Okay? So that's the Asda one. And Iceland are also selling Towers 4-litre air fryer for just £35. That's in Iceland. Whether or not they've still got them, because what tends to happen is that these things go very quickly, all right, once they've come out there. Dan Woodhouse says a prayer. You must have a word, Shania, with Dan Woodhouse here. He says a prayer every time I get on the train, as in, Our Father, who art in Hendon Central, Holloway Road be thy name. It's him, Shania. It's him. Sacrilegious going on here. Sacrilegious. Shania's just got an air fryer. How are you getting on with that, Shania? Oh, Weird City has just sent me a £5 tip. Thank you very much, Weird City. You're very kind to this ageing DJ to send a tip today, my darling. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There we are. Thank you very much for my £5 tip tonight from Weird City. Tipperoo. Tipperoo. Yeah. Well, they sing in Bracknell, Shania, and Wokingham, but they don't sing in Roehampton for some reason. It's weird, isn't it? And John says Aldi have a twin basket fryer on sale as well. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Let's just look that up one before we go. Aldi twin air fryer. Is that in store? Has it come out yet? Aldi, here it is. Aldi. Blimey, what make is that? Ambiano dual basket air fryer, £89. Don't know the brand. Again, that's probably something I wouldn't buy. That particular brand there, I don't know that one at all, to be honest. Anyway, there we go. All right, thanks ever so much for joining us on the show today. Not sure about next Wednesday. Just keep a little eye on the YouTube, then it will tell you whether or not there's a show going ahead next Wednesday. But it might well be coming from the luxury Waterside Media Centre. Now, don't go. There's a brand new closing video. Hurrah! Right, the little cartoon bits are the same. But I took the time on Sunday night. It took me 2.5 hours. That's why it doesn't change very often. 2.5 hours. In the kitchen with Pen. Hello to you. I love my air fryers. My oven's not been on since last Christmas, you see. A lot of people doing that. Yeah, there's a brand new little closing video. I've changed the clips. The children were starting to look much older than they are in the old clip. So that's bang up to date now. So that's coming up for you to close down with. If you're around tomorrow morning, do check out a little radio show that I do. It's a lot of fun, and you can find that at reachonair.com. Okay, there I am. Monday to Friday between 9 and 10 o'clock, reachonair.com. You can also listen on your smart speaker. If you say to your Amazon device, Amazon, play radio station Reach On Air, and you'll be able to listen there. You can also watch now on TikTok. My username on TikTok for the radio show is Chris Reardon UK. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for all your messages and joining in. Hopefully see you next Wednesday at the same time, 8 o'clock. Enjoy our new little closing video. Cheerio now.